Caught my wife shopping, then the baseball bat came out. People hear the title of this story and immediately assume I caught my wife stealing. I wish it had been that simple. She wasn't shopping for clothes or groceries. She was shopping for a completely different life, one that didn't include me. And the baseball bat? It had nothing to do with revenge. It was the moment I realized our marriage had become something I didn't recognize anymore. My name is Daniel, and this is the day I caught my wife living a double life. Laura and I had been married for 11 years. We weren't rich. We weren't struggling either. 2 decent jobs, a comfortable home, a teenage daughter named Sophie, the kind of life I thought people spent decades trying to build. Looking back, the warning signs didn't appear overnight. Laura suddenly became obsessed with online shopping. Every week, another package arrived: designer handbags, expensive shoes, jewelry I'd never seen before. Whenever I asked how she could afford everything, she'd smile. "I've been finding amazing deals." It sounded believable, until our savings account started shrinking. Thousands of dollars disappeared over just a few months. She blamed rising bills, unexpected expenses, credit card payments. Something didn't add up. I handled most of our finances. The math simply wasn't working. One Saturday morning, she announced she was going shopping with her friends. Nothing unusual. She'd done that dozens of times. About an hour later, I realized she'd accidentally left her tablet at home. It started buzzing nonstop. I picked it up, planning to call her. Instead, a notification appeared: "Can't wait to see you again." The sender's name wasn't saved, just a phone number. I stared at the screen. My stomach tightened. Against my better judgment, I opened the conversation. It wasn't about shopping. It was about hotel reservations, weekend trips, future plans, messages discussing apartments they wanted to rent together. The affair had been going on for almost 8 months. 8 months. Every shopping trip, every girls' day out, every late meeting. They'd all been lies. I didn't call her. I didn't send angry messages. Instead, I got into my truck. Using the location sharing she'd forgotten was still active on the tablet, I drove across town. She wasn't at a shopping mall. She was standing outside a small townhouse, laughing, holding another man's hand. I watched from across the street, not because I wanted more proof, because my brain refused to accept what my eyes already knew. After a few minutes, they walked inside. I quietly drove home. I spent the next 2 hours sitting in complete silence. Then I heard the garage door. Laura walked in carrying 3 shopping bags, designer stores, perfect props. She smiled. "You should have seen the sales today." I simply looked at the bags, then at her. "Did you enjoy shopping?" She nodded. "It was great." Another lie. I walked upstairs without saying another word. Inside our bedroom closet sat an old baseball bat I'd owned since high school. Every spring, I'd use it during our neighborhood softball games. I picked it up, walked downstairs. Laura's face immediately turned pale. "Daniel, what are you doing?" Without saying a word, I walked past her, straight into the garage. She followed behind me, shaking. I placed the bat on the workbench, then opened the trunk of my car. Inside were dozens of cardboard boxes, photo albums, wedding gifts, keepsakes, everything we'd built together. I looked at the bat, then at the wooden shelves I'd built years earlier to store our family memories. One swing, another, the shelves collapsed. Boxes fell to the floor, frames shattered. Not because I was out of control, because I couldn't stand looking at a life that no longer existed. Laura started crying. "Please stop." I finally spoke. I already did. Then I held up her tablet. The color drained from her face. She didn't deny anything. She couldn't. Instead, she whispered, "I was going to tell you." I almost laughed. "No. You were going to keep lying until you got caught." Silence. She admitted everything. The affair, the secret apartment she'd been helping pay for, the expensive gifts she'd bought him using our joint account. Every so-called shopping trip had really been another date. The money I'd spent years earning had funded someone else's relationship. That hurt more than the affair itself. The following morning, I met with a lawyer. Within weeks, I separated our finances, filed for divorce, and made sure Sophie learned the truth from me before rumors reached her. I never insulted Laura in front of our daughter. Children shouldn't be forced to carry their parents' bitterness. That was one promise I refused to break. About a year later, I heard through mutual friends that Laura's relationship had collapsed. Apparently, once real life replaced secret excitement, everything fell apart. The man she'd left our family for didn't want commitment. He wanted the fantasy. She called me several times, left voicemails, sent long emails saying she'd made the biggest mistake of her life. She even stood outside my house one evening asking for another chance. I listened quietly, then said something I'd spent months learning myself. I miss the woman I married. But she disappeared long before the divorce. She cried. I closed the door, not out of cruelty, out of peace. Today, Sophie is in college. Laura and I speak only when it's about our daughter, nothing more. As for that old baseball bat, I still have it. Every scratch reminds me of one important lesson. The bat never hit a person. It broke a shelf, but that shelf represented something I needed to let go of. The illusion that a marriage can survive without honesty. People often ask if I regret not fighting harder. The truth is, you can't compete with someone who's already chosen deception. Looking back now, catching my wife wasn't the worst day of my life. Living with someone who lied to my face every single day without me knowing, that was worse. Sometimes the hardest part isn't discovering the truth. It's realizing the person you trusted most had been rehearsing lies while you were busy building a future. If you've ever had to rebuild your life after betrayal, remember this. Trust can be broken in a moment, but self-respect is rebuilt one decision at a time, and walking away from someone who stopped valuing you isn't giving up. Sometimes it's the first step toward getting your life back.